Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys had a great night tonight. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for obviously NBA, and then I also do other stuff. We'll talk about that in a sec. But all these videos get posted on this subreddit right here called DF Sports. What the fuck? As you know, I make updates with all the news that comes out. Unfortunately, there was no news today outside of the Brunson news, and then you can talk strategy here, stuff like that. Ask me questions, I'll always reply to you. So yeah, that's on Reddit. If you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can do so on Twitter, at Tori Langley 1992 right here, or Shook Go if you ever need to message me. So yeah, that's how you get a hold of me. So I did not place. Oh, by the way, if you want in-depth content going over each slate, player pools for cash, GPPs, cores, stuff like that, Discord link will be down below. I also do XFL stuff, so if you want, football in your life in the spring, I also offer that. Yeah, a lot of big nights in Discord tonight. It was pretty awesome, if you ask me. Like, nice little third place here. Great lineup there. Forex day there. A little nice lineup there. Second place here. $82 into 1,000. Nice little ROI there. Little double up there. Bink right there. Nice profit there. Nice ROI there. A little Forex day there. What? $15 into $500. Nice cash there. Nice cash there. So yeah, great day in the Discord, but I did not play one single lineup tonight, as you guys know. I usually only play one lineup, but I thought I'd get a little bit spicy because, as you guys know, I deal with an injury every day. So I wanted to play more than one lineup tonight. So I played 40 lineups in this. I think it was $5. Yeah, played 40 lineups in this. I broke even with. Let's take a look at my. Let's take a look at my exposures. Let's just take a look. I broke even tonight with. Don't sue me, Draftkings. The slate is already over. I broke even tonight with 60% RJ Barrett, 40% Julius Randle, 40% Josh Hart, 30% Darius Garland, all massive busts. Somehow break even. And the reason why I broke even tonight was because I told everyone in Discord, Brandon Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, my two favorite plays on the slate, both absolutely nuked the slate. They carried me. Also had 50% Quentin Grimes. That helped. Also had 50% Nicholas Batum. That helped. And then also had a bunch of Kawhi Leonard. So that was the reason why I broke even. But pretty impressed breaking even with that much RJ Barrett, that much Julius Randle, and that much Josh Hart. Uh, Pretty unreal, if you ask me. The core that I had for today was Emmanuel Quickly. He smashed. Jonas Valanciunas was also another core play for me. He smashed. Who else did I have core? Quickly. Jonas. Julius Randle. He was a core play for me. He was just okay. Went for 5x. And then who was the other core play? RJ Barrett. I believe RJ Barrett was a core play for me. So 3 out of 4 on the core. Unfortunately, RJ Barrett was a massive bust. But as you can see, I was over on all of the low-owned plays that I really liked. Jonas Valanciunas, Brandon Ingram, Nicholas Batum, who I thought was an okay value. Definitely got lucky there with that second half. But you can just see I just had a ton of Brandon Ingram, a ton. Jalen Williams at 4% here. So yeah, I'm very very happy breaking even with that much of those Knicks guys. So also I was over the field on Franz Wagner, injured, done for the game, absolutely nuking the slate too. Pretty sure he got injured in the third quarter. He had like 35 fantasy points. Let me check his minutes. Just want to make sure. Okay, he didn't lose on too many minutes. Okay, maybe I was a bit overreacting there, but I'm watching this Knicks game. Scroll forward if you don't want to hear the tilt. Scroll forward. I'm watching the Knicks game. It's a it's like I'm watching high school basketball. High school basketball. Literally. It's like I'm watching high school basketball or 1960s NBA basketball. Julius Randle 1 of 100 shooting. Let's see what he finished with. 7 of 20 shooting. 3 of 12 shooting. 7 of 17 shooting. 3 of 7 shooting. Did Mitchell Robinson even shoot the ball? That's what I want to know. He shot it once. But Quentin Grimes couldn't miss. I want to see what he actually ended with. 10 of 18. What an absolute stud. Low usage. Quentin Grimes going for 50 fantasy points at 20% ownership for your boys. All right, let's go over the slate. So, got a big slate here. I have to get my COVID shot tomorrow, so I have to travel an hour away to get that because nobody has them in stock around me. So, I don't know if I'll be on Reddit before lock. I don't know if I'll be on Discord before lock. We'll see. Also, I hope I don't get sick from the shot. Once again, we'll see. Hopefully I don't. But yeah, don't know if I'll be around before lock, which kind of sucks because there's a lot of news up in the air for tomorrow. But let's go over the slate. So, Indiana at Boston. Not the best spot here. We have Halliburton questionable. I mean, if he's in, I'm probably just going to full fade this team. Like, Halliburton would just be a tournament play for me. Miles Turner at 6'6", like, I don't like the matchup. Normally, I would say this is too cheap, but I don't really like the matchup. Is Robert Williams in? Yeah, but he's coming off the bench. I mean, I guess I have some interest in Miles Turner, but he's not going to be like a guy I'm going to look to. I wouldn't really be touching anyone else if Halliburton's in. If Halliburton's out, then, Buddy Hield has the ceiling. He's going to have to try to do everything for this team. Does have a low floor when it's not hitting his shots, but would be solid to me at 5'9". Still just a tournament-only play. And then I would like both the guards at Nembhard and TJ. Now that the prices have come down on both of them. Once again, wouldn't be priorities for me, but I think would be solid plays in the mid-range. Mathurin at 5'3", just be okay, like last piece in kind of guy. Once again, not like standing out to me. I probably wouldn't be going to anyone else. Pretty sure O'Shea Brissett started last game. Don't know what that was about. I don't know if anyone was out for him to start. I don't think there was. If he starts again, you could definitely consider him just because he's a good point per minute guy. But I don't even know why he started. I forget if anyone was out that helped him start. I don't think there was. Obviously, Dorte's been out, but I don't think there was anyone significant that was out. So, yeah. Really depends on Halliburton news, and then, yeah, you can take shots on Brissett if he starts. Just because he's a good point per minute guy. So, really, really good matchup here. I think Tatum and Brown are solid at their respective prices. I'm always just going to prefer Tatum when they're this close in price. He's not, like, one of my top spin-ups on the slate. Like, if Kyrie's out, I'd much rather play Luka. If, Joel Embiid plays, I'd much rather play Joel Embiid. Like, Giannis is in a smash spot. You have Sabonis. You have SGA in a smash spot. So, not going to rank pretty highly for me, but I think he is in play. Same thing with Jaylen Brown. And then with everyone healthy, I think the rest of this team is just going to be stayaways for me. I mean, Robert Williams came off the bench last game, played 21 minutes, but until he gets his minutes kind of up there, it's probably going to be a stay away for me. So, yeah, really just Tatum and Brown on the Boston side. And then what the fuck are we doing here? We have Keldon probable. We have Graham probable. We have Zach Collins questionable. We have Vassell questionable, Trey Jones questionable, I believe, as well. Probable. So we have Trey Jones, Graham, Keldon, all probable. So the really only thing that this is going to impact too much for me personally is if Zach Collins is out. Because if Zach Collins is out, then I really like Sandro Mamukelashvili at 4.8, who would still be way too cheap in a smash spot against Gafford. So if Zach Collins is out and they start Sandro, I really like him. And then like with Keldon, Trey Jones, and Graham in, there really isn't too much for me. Like I don't want to deal with Pop on a 10-game slate. So the really only interest I have in this team is if Zach Collins is out and they start Sandro. So and then like with the guards, Trey Jones, Graham, and I'm not gonna get to any of the guards. Keldon Johnson is overpriced with everyone back, so yeah, really just Sandro for me. If Zach Collins is out, so woo-wee, phenomenal spot here. No Beal, no Kuzma. I think Porzingis looks like one of the best spend-ups on the slate under 10K in a smash spot. My only risk here is blowout concern, but I would hope that they could keep this close. So I really like Porzingis at 9K with no Brad Beal, no Kyle Kuzma. He was in a tougher matchup last game, got in a massive foul trouble. Plus, I believe the game might have gotten out of hand a bit, but yeah, as long as he plays full minutes here with the team to himself, I really like Porzingis. I think Denny, even at this price, is still a solid play. I still think he's a little bit too cheap. Guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Pretty much a do-it-all guy. Those are guys that I always want to roster. I expect, low to mid-30s minutes from him, so I still like Denny. I think Monte Morris, he had a pretty bad game as well. I like him as a bounce-back candidate. He's going to have to do a ton more. So, yeah, sign me up. I like these Washington guys tomorrow. Porzingis, Denny, Monte, I think all look pretty good to me. Corey Kispert's overpriced. Daniel Gafford, I don't really think his role changes too much. Like, maybe he'll have to play a bit more. Would have some interest in him, but would be fine. Like, he's playable. He's not someone I'm going to go out of my way to play for value, but I feel like we'll have better value opening up later. Jordan Goodwin was an absolute fish play last night. I will not be going to him. And then, yeah, they're dusting off Johnny Davis, probably the worst pick in the draft. So, yeah, just really only have interest in these main three guys for Washington, and then Daniel Gafford. So, and here we go again. It's like Detroit. It's like the Spurs. It's like just a Charlotte. It's just unbelievable. No Bojan. No Magruder. No Stewart. No Burks. No Diallo. We have Livers probable. So we have Jalen Durham back. So I don't have any interest in this team. I don't. So with Durham back, Bagley's going to lose minutes. He's priced up to 7-1. The guards are priced up. Sure, if you want to take a shot on one of the guards, they do have a ceiling. Wiseman is now priced appropriately. So Detroit in a tough matchup, probably just going to be a stay away for me. Let's move on to Toronto. So phenomenal matchup here. You have Scotty, you have Trent, both questionable. If they're in a phenomenal matchup, I still think Siakam, Fred VanVleet are solid tournament plays. Wish they were a bit cheaper. Jakob Poeltl played 36 minutes last game, but that was with the Trent and Barnes out. I think he would go back to around 30 minutes. Would still be playable in a good matchup, but would prefer those guys out. And I probably wouldn't touch anyone else. But if we get a situation where Scotty and Trent are out again and they start Will Barton again, then a big boost to Siakam. I would like him for GPPs. I do prefer like Porzingis around the same price, but would like him. Same with Fred VanVleet. So would like both for GPPs. And then even at this price tag, I still would like Jakob Poeltl quite a bit. Really good matchup against Detroit. I think we get close to 36 minutes again from him. Really good point per minute guy. I still would like him quite a bit at 7-2. And then like OG 6-4 seems right. And then I would still really like Chris Boucher. For value, played 28 minutes. Really good point per minute guy when he gets those minutes. He would still be too cheap, in my opinion, if those guys are out. So would really like Chris Boucher for value. And then if they start Will Barton again, I like him for value as well. He's not going to get benched again and shoot 2 of 8. Historically, he's a decent point per minute guy. So if everyone's going to fade Will Barton because he busted this game, I think it's a prime spot to go back to him if those guys are out and he starts. So I would like Will Barton quite a bit as a bounce back candidate there if they start him. So yeah, that'll do it for Toronto. Let's move on to Houston. So minutes still pretty high on these Houston guys. So Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green. I think they're both good GPP plays just because no one's going to play any of them. I wish the matchup was better, but I like them for GPPs just because they're both playing around 40 minutes a game. They're always going to be low owned. Sengun probably plays around 30 minutes. I think I'd much rather play Jakob Poeltl for the same price. Jabari Smith, no. Tari, no. Jayshawn Tate's out. You saw close to 40 minutes from KJ Martin. He seems like a pretty safe play to me. But yeah, I think that'll do it for Houston. Let's move on to Memphis. So I would assume Ja Morant's still going to be on a limit. I believe Steven Adams sat him down and just told him he was going to absolutely punish him and make him come off the bench and get punished for his actions. But so if he comes off the bench and still limited, unfortunately, hard to go to him. But if we get news that he's in the starting lineup and he's going to play full minutes, he's the best play on the slate at sub 9K in a phenomenal matchup. So keep an eye on what they're going to do with Ja Morant. Maybe ask some beat writers what they think, stuff like that. I will be doing that. So yeah, like I said, if Ja Morant starting lineup plays full minutes, sub 9K, he's the best play on the slate. So just keep an eye on that. I would assume he comes off the bench again and is limited. Jaren Jackson had a massive game last game. I mean, he does have this ceiling if he can stay out of foul trouble. So always interested in him for GPPs, but the price tag, it just seems right or a little bit overpriced. I think Bane's overpriced. Tice is overpriced with Jobrak. Dylan Brooks is overpriced. The bigs I'm not going to get to. You can't get to Kennard, can't get to Roddy, can't get to any of these guys with him back. So, yeah. I think that'll do it for Memphis. Let's move on to Charlotte. And then, what the fuck happened tonight? Kelly Oubre, done. Terry Rozier, done. Dennis Smith Jr., done. What are we doing? So, I would think they play here. I think Mark Williams will be out. We'll see though. If Mark Williams is out, then in a good matchup, I'd like Nick Richards here once again. Got into massive foul trouble tonight, still smashed, so would like him quite a bit again. If everyone's in, I'm probably just going to stay away from Charlotte, especially after what they did tonight. I would have interest in Oubre. I think PJ Washington and Hayward would be fine flyers because I would assume they don't get just like randomly injured or benched again. But I wouldn't go to anyone else. But if Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre are both out and Dennis Smith Jr. plays, he becomes one of the best values on the slate. If they're all, and then I like PJ, I like Gordon Hayward. If they're all out, then once again, I think Nick Richards is good. You're going to get Svi Mikhailuk in the starting lineup, most likely, play big minutes. He would be one of the, would really like him for value. You're probably going to get big minutes for like Bryce McGowan. Is Theo Maledon on the team? He's in the G, like who would run point? He's in the G League. Who would run point? We're just gonna have to update this later. But if they're all out and like Svi, really like Svi, he would just be like a smash in my opinion. And then you're probably gonna get huge minutes for like Bryce McGowan's. Like he would be good for value. Like JT Thor, terrible point per minute guy, playable. Kai Jones will get the backup 5. But it's just a wait and see. I really don't know what they're gonna do. They might have to call up Theo. I don't even know if that's possible. So all I do know is if they're out, I'm probably going to play Svi Mikhailuk at the flat min price. So, and then if Dennis Smith Jr. plays and they're all out, then I'm probably going to play Dennis Smith Jr. And then I like Nick Richards if Mark Williams is out. So just keep it on the active amount of bodies they have. Who's starting at the point, who is in, out, going to be very, very important. Could have a ton of value there for Charlotte in a tight rotation. So we have Luka in, we have Kyrie questionable, we have Tim Hardaway Jr. questionable. If everyone's in a good matchup, I think Luka's fine. Probably not going to get to Kyrie. Woods minutes back down of late. It's hard to go there, even though it's a phenomenal matchup. Still a fine tournament play. Jaden Hardy, the people who played him last slate got rewarded. I don't understand how anyone clicked on Jaden Hardy last slate. Absolutely atrocious. He was in the winning lineup last night. Wouldn't go to him. Basically wouldn't go to anyone. If Kyrie is out though, and by the way, do your research on Twitter. In Discord, we knew that Luka Doncic wasn't going to be on a limit. We knew it. All you gotta do is ask some beat writers. They'll tell you, as long as they respond. So if Kyrie's out in a phenomenal spot, my only worry is, can they keep this game competitive, Charlotte? But if Kyrie's out, I really like Luka, and then I don't think I'd get to anyone else. Like Kleber's gonna play around 25 to 30 minutes anyway. Like really low usage guy. I don't think we'll have to go there on the slate, but it would probably just be Luka or bust for me. And then like if Tim Hardaway Jr. is out, I guess you could consider Josh Green at $5,000. So yeah, that'll do it for Dallas. Let's move on to Milwaukee. So no Chris Middleton in a good matchup. As long as he plays full minutes, I do like him. Biggs have been just destroying Utah. So like Giannis, 7.2K Drew Holiday with no Chris Middleton. Sign me up for that. This is just way too cheap. It's just too cheap. So yeah, like both the top two guys here from Milwaukee, if they can keep this game close. I assume Pat Connaughton will start. If he starts, sure, fine value, too solid. And then like Joe Ingles probably has to play a bit more. He would be playable. Grayson Allen, you guys know the drill. Has to hit the shots to reach value, but I think Pat Connaughton would be the value play I'd go to there, assuming he starts. And then, like I said, let me just take a look. I have not been watching Milwaukee Bucks games. Yeah, I just assume it's Pat Connaughton. But yeah, Drew Holiday 7.2 with no Middleton. Yeah, it's just too cheap. On to Utah. No Markkanen, no Clarkson. Everyone's going to see THT going up against Milwaukee, and they're not going to cook his name. And they're going to see barely played last game because he was in massive foul trouble. And Chris Dunn was playing well, and they just closed with him. Milwaukee has not been good against guards. They have not. So sign me up for some low-owned THT. I think it looks like a great GPP play. Walker Kessler seems priced about right. Kelly Olynyk seems priced about right, but does get a big boost with no Markkanen. They'll also run their offense a bit through him as well. So I think he looks like a safe play, too solid, even at that price point. Chris Dunn, I think, is priced about right. He'll get the backup point. 5.5 seems reasonable to okay. Ochai Agbaji, he'll play, probably 35-ish minutes. Safe value at 5K, but also seems right. Fontecchio, he'll probably have to play, 30 to 33 minutes. Playable value. But not excited about those guys. Let's move on to the last 4 games of the night. Got some big news to monitor here. Joel Embiid, James Harden, both questionable. I think Embiid plays. I'm 50-50 on Harden. So if they're both in a good spot against the Warriors, I think Embiid looks like a pretty good spend up. I think Harden's okay, and then everyone would be out of play at their respective prices. But if Harden's out and Embiid's in, then I really like Embiid. I think Maxey would be fine. I think Harris would be okay to solid. Melton would be playable, but once again, they're priced up. If they're both out, then that's where things change. Then I really like Tyrese Maxey. Then I really like Tobias Harris. I think Melton would be solid. Even at 6K, I think it'd still be solid. Whoever starts at the 5. If they start like Paul Reed at the 5, then I really like Paul Reed, but they'll probably split the center minutes. If they start PJ Tucker at the 5, which they have done in the past, is against the Warriors, I think that could happen, then I'd probably shy away from Paul Reed, Montrezl Harrell. So, yeah, got to keep an eye on Harden and Embiid news. That's going to be pretty big there. Let's move on to the Warriors. So, it's just Steph at the top for me. I think Steph offers a ton of upside. Don't like the matchup, but always has that upside. So, he's always in play for me for GPPs. I'm not going to go to anyone else on the Warriors. Let's move on to Phoenix. So, no KD, no Ayton. It's a pass pace. Good matchup here. So, Booker, Paul, I like here once again for GPPs. I think Chris Paul, obviously he's not going to... He shot 17 times last game. Okay, I was going to say he's not been shooting the ball as much, but 15 shot attempts, 17 shot attempts over the past 2 games. Yeah, I think 7.5 is pretty good for him. I think Devin Booker, I know he struggled last game in the first half. Definitely got it together there at the end, but he's also going to play huge minutes and probably shoot the ball 20, 25 times. So I like both the main 2 guys here in a fast-paced matchup. Okogie seems priced about right. Bismack Biyombo will start. Him and Landell will probably split the center minutes. Now that Biyombo is almost 5K, it just seems right. I honestly would prefer going to Jock Landell for the discount because I think they split the center minutes pretty evenly there. So let's move on to Sacramento. So I don't know what they're doing with Sabonis' price. So um, he should be like, with how he's playing right now, he should be like 11K. So Sabonis is too cheap, and I really like the matchup. So I like Sabonis. Fox, I still think is too cheap as well. Can we talk about this? 12 first half minutes when I play Fox last game, and a random massive blowout. Also, what they do with Fox's rotation is the most frustrating thing I have ever watched in my entire life. He can't ever get into a rhythm in the first half because he's playing 4 minutes in the first quarter. He comes back in with a minute left in the first, and then they play him for like 8 minutes in the second, and then they pull him again, and then he closes the second, and then he plays a shift in the third, and he plays the whole fourth. He can never get into a rhythm because he's not playing a consistent rotation. It's the most frustrating thing to watch. But Fox, 8-3, very solid play. If Herder's out, you can consider Keegan, you can consider Barnes, but I don't think it's necessary to go to any of those guys in the slate. So, Chicago, Portland. Not the best matchup here, but Chicago are frauds. They should keep this game close with Portland. We have Caruso questionable. We have DeMar DeRozan questionable. So, if DeMar's in, you guys know the drill. They're playing huge minutes, so I like the main three for GPPs. I don't have a lean on which I like the most, but I think they're all viable. And then I'm not going to touch anyone else. If DeMar and Caruso are out, then I like Levine. I like Vooch. I think they look solid. You're going to get more minutes for Patrick Williams. I think he would be a playable value. Definitely gets a boost. You're going to get more minutes for guys like Kobe White, but 5-1 just seems right. Io 5 kids, it also just seems right. Patrick Beverly also just seems right. I think Patrick Williams would be the breadwinner here if DeMar DeRozan is out and Caruso is out. He would just have to play a ton of minutes. And then, like I said, if they're both out, you're going to get a ton of minutes for the guards, Patrick Williams. But Patrick Williams probably would be my favorite of the bunch if they're both out. And then Kobe White would be my second favorite, but would really mainly be looking to Levine and Vooch and Paul. Portland, no Grant, no Simons. We have Nurk questionable. We have Little questionable. So Dame looks great. No Grant, no Simons. His usage rate is absolutely insane. Don't care about the matchup. Don't care. He's one of the highest usage rates in the league right now. I really like Dame. If Nurkic is in, I also like Nurk. Not scared of Vooch defensively. Has played 27, 31 minutes, past 2 games. No Grant. I think his minutes are pretty safe here. So, like Nurk if he plays. But no Grant. Watford started. He's also going to play massive minutes. I think he's in play even at 6K. Sharp played a ton. Played 40 minutes. I think even at 5-4. He seems like an okay 2 solid. I still like Sharp. He's not a bad point per minute guy. He's going to chuck the ball while he's out there. My only worry is he might go a bit over owned, but still like Sharp even at that price. I'm not going to go to Reddish. Not going to go to Thibault. But if Nurkic is out, I also would. Okay, if Little is in, I would feel less confident about Watford. So I would probably only play Watford if Little's out. I think Little could cut into his minutes. We'll see, though. So I would feel better about Watford if Little is out. But if Nurkic is out and Little is out, then you're probably going to get Drew Eubanks at the 5. And this is what I will say. So in the past, when Nurkic was out, they were starting Drew Eubanks and Watford was coming off the bench. And you didn't see either of them really play any big minutes. And that's why, like, Drew Eubanks' production, like, wasn't great. So, if we have Nurk out, Simons, Grant, and Little out, they're going to be forced to play Drew Eubanks, I would think, pretty big minutes here. So, I would like Drew Eubanks quite a bit for value if all those guys are out. So, keep an eye on that. I think he's a pretty sneaky value play tomorrow if those guys are out. I would just, they just wouldn't have anyone behind him. I would think he would have to play, like, solid minutes here, like 25, 30 minutes. So, a little sneaky play there that I don't think some people are going to realize that in the past he was splitting minutes with Watford, and now with Grant out, they're gonna like obviously go Watford, Eubanks, if Little's out. So yeah, something interesting there that I don't know if people will realize. I'm sure people will, but all right. phenomenal spot here for Oklahoma City Thunder. I love Shy at 10K in a phenomenal spot. He's one of my favorite spin ups on the slate. Giddy's playable, Jalen's playable. I'm not going to anyone else. Lakers, so phenomenal spot. I know AD's been horrible of late, but I also really like AD. I think he looks like one of the better spin ups on the slate. D'Lo, no. Austin Reeves seems priced about right. If you want to ride the hot streak, go for it. I'm not going to go to anyone else. So I know there's a lot of spin ups on the slate. I'm going to do my due diligence here, and I'm going to try my best to rank them for you guys. So give me one sec. Gotta hit the vape for this one. I'm gonna do my best. So right now, I think Dame stands out as the best spin up on the slate for me. I think, we'll go 9K and above. I think for me it's Dame. Or no, we're gonna go 10K and above. That's too many spin ups. So I think right now for me it's Dame. Dame 1. I think if it's tough, man. So many good options. I shouldn't have said I was gonna rank these guys for you because I love them all. Like, okay, Dame 1. Tatum last. If Kyrie's out, Dame 1. You know what? I'm going to put Shy 2. I don't think anyone's going to play him tomorrow. It's a phenomenal matchup. Dame 1, Shy 2. If Kyrie's out, Luka 3. If Harden's out, Joel Embiid 4. But those are my top 4. You can throw Sabonis in there too. So just know Dame's 1 for me, and then SGA, Sabonis, Luka if Kyrie's out, Embiid if Harden's out, are all very, very close to me. Those are probably the spin ups that I would try to build with tomorrow. And then if you want someone below 10K, it's very, very clearly Devin Booker and Kristaps Porzingis for me personally. So hope this video helped you guys out. Wild slate, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow.